Folks, thank you for tuning in to another edition of TDA TV. We're here with Leon from City Kid Adventures. Leon is the host, along with Brandon Harrell at Harrell Whitetail Ranches, for this youth hunt
Yes,
of
sir.
2017.
Yes, sir.
Talk to me a little bit about your program.
Basically, we're a mentoring program for inner city kids, and we do all things outdoors: camping, fishing, hunting, hiking. Hunting is a small portion of our program, but it's a pretty essential portion of our program. And so we try and get kids outdoors, and it's a mentoring program, and show them a little different things in life and what life has to offer through the outdoors.
Well, I drove through the gates this morning, and we saw 10 to 12 kids, and they had the biggest smiles on their face they had ever seen. So it was so interesting to see that many kids of all diverse ages and all diverse ethnicities having a really fun time out on the ranch. Talk to me a little bit about what your program does for inner city youth or just urban youth.
Basically, we dispel a lot of myths in the inner city. A lot of people, when you talk about inner city kids and hunting, it's not two terms you use together, because most inner city kids don't have a clue about hunting, and everything they have ever associated with hunting evolves around violence. And so we try and go through with our hunter safety course and education process to teach the kids there is a proper way to use a firearm. There is a proper way to have ethics and morals while you're in the outdoors. And we use hunting as a way to teach that. And it works really, really well for our kids, because kids start to understand the value of hunting. And it's not just something that television glamorizes or misrepresents oftentimes.
Sure. Just this morning, it seems like the program's much more than just about firearms and hunting. Like you said, the kids got a firsthand experience on how to clean a deer and kind of a respect for animals and what that deer, harvesting that deer means as far as meat and other things. So tell us a little bit about kind of the whole experience out here at the ranch.
Yes, it's for a lot of the kids, they oftentimes they think meat simply comes from HEB and the grocery store
Or McDonald's.
Exactly. And so they get to see firsthand. They get to the entire experience, where they have to go through and they sit in the blind, waking up early in the morning, and then when they finally get to actually pull the trigger, that's a very, very small portion of it. Once they pull that trigger, then the work really begins, and the understanding of what they've just done really sets in. And so they go through the process and we bless this particular trip to have a gentleman who's very familiar with cleaning and dressing deer. And so he showed the kids how to do that, and they showed them different parts of the deer and how it's actually going to be used. And so we typically take them to a processor, and the processor, cuts up steaks, sausage, and the kids have an opportunity to take that meat back home, use it for spaghetti, hamburger meat, sausage, all kinds of stuff. And so they start to understand there's a value in this. It's not something that, you, quote unquote, you're going out and killing animals. And that's not what we try and teach at all. And so the kids understand that. And coming from the inner city, that's a valuable lesson for them.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so me included, there's going to be hundreds of people that watch this that say, how did a guy like Leon get involved in a program like this? How did you come to decide that this is what you wanted to do as a career path?
Well, I'll tell you, it probably started when I was in college. I was on a member of the football team, and I had some guys ask me if I wanted to go hunting, and I was from the inner city, didn't have a clue about hunting, and I tagged along with these guys, and I saw the type of time they had. It was just amazing. I thought, wow, this is interesting. And so as I got a little older and started doing a little more, I started going along a little more and tagging along a little more. I really, really enjoyed the camaraderie, enjoyed just being away from the city, asphalt and concrete, and being in the outdoors. And I thought, if kids from the inner city had an opportunity to do this earlier, what type of response would you have in terms of making them lifelong lovers of the outdoors? And so that's kind of how it all spawned. And then once once I graduated, my way of giving kids an opportunity and giving back was making sure that we created a program where kids can have the same opportunities to experience what I experienced at a younger age. And then it kind of morphed into camping, fishing, hunting, hiking, and we just kind of go along with the seasons. Again, getting them away from the city, away from all the negative aspects of city. And cities are wonderful, but the outdoors is a little better.
Leon, you're hitting on something that all of us in the hunting community, as you know, I head up an association, and part of our association's mission is to bring an enlightenment and a fulfillment back to the outdoors. Right. Texas is blessed in that we still have a lot of kids who enjoy the outdoors, want to be part of the hunting community. But in a lot of places, and even in Texas, but the trend across America is that we're losing hunters, right? We know that as the population goes up, the ratio of hunters that it's supposed to trend up with it, but it's not trending at the same rate, and we're losing. We're losing part of an age class that doesn't do much more than whatever's in a 10-mile radius, or sometimes we hate to say it, but sometimes what's in front of a TV or a video game. And so, talk to me a little bit about the value that y'all place on the outdoors. Instead of sitting in, I think all the kids are from San Antonio.
Correct.
Instead of staying right there in urban San Antonio.
Yes. And basically, we tell the kids this all the time. As a society, we are so socially connected through Facebook, through all the social apps, Spotify. I mean, just everything you can imagine socially. We're so connected socially that we disconnect as human beings. And that's what the outdoor has the ability to do. It has the ability to connect people, because when you're outdoors and you leave all of the technology behind, you have nothing more to do but to communicate and ponder your thoughts and appreciate all the wonderful things the outdoor has to offer. And hunting also has an opportunity, gives you an opportunity to understand and value all the things that the outdoors have. I mean, that's life and death. That's hunting. And so at the end of the day, again, we're so connected socially that we disconnect as human beings. People don't talk anymore. People don't have conversations anymore. And it's very arcane. And we see that in our kids. And I think that's why hunting, quote unquote, is starting to trend down, because people, again, they don't have an opportunity to get out there and appreciate what's really out there. And that's why we do what we do.
Well, Leon, I don't think anybody could have put that the way you just put it. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope you do something like this every year. I know that this is not your only hunt. You were talking earlier about hiking and other things outdoors. Man, I tell you, if there's any way that our association can ever help you, let us know. I think what you're doing is more than valuable. You can't put a price on what you're teaching.
Well, I think what you guys are doing and the opportunity to get the message out there is huge. And you guys, you shed a positive light on the hunting experience. Again, inner city kids associating with hunting. Your media, this genre here, I mean, it just gives the kids an opportunity to do something positive and again, shed a positive light on hunting, because it is trending. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You heard from Leon a little bit ago, and we're gonna talk a little bit to Brandon about kind of what makes this whole thing go and why he chose City Kid Adventures. But Brandon, first, thank you for everything you do.
Appreciate y'all coming out, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate filming this. Pretty cool deal.
So talk to me a little bit about how this came about.
I guided on a buddy's ranch, and I saw a need for these kid guys. Leon asked me to come guide and help out, take these kids out that don't get to experience wildlife and they do all these programs. They don't get to a lot of ranches. I'm like, I got one unique asset, have a ranch deer that needs to be shot, and I know these kids really appreciate it. So that's why I reached out to Leon, and then it just started turning into a domino effect. I was like, it'd be really cool if we could teach them how to process deer, like how to really something they could use real world application. So we got Jeremiah filled the plate. We got him to fly in from California and donate his services, and I got a couple camera guys, and it just dominoed after that. It was a pretty cool deal.
Well, that's fantastic. You know, I was telling Leon that I pulled through the gate and I see all these smiling kids, right? I mean, there are just two or three, Polaris fulls of smiling kids, and it's not every day that we see that on ranches. Brandon, this is kind of the out of the ballpark question, but you do a lot of philanthropic work. We were here with Oath with the Veterans Deal. Now we're here on a youth hunt. Kind of what drives you to do that?
I got a unique asset. I mean, I got different. I mean, I just want to give back. I mean, I came from a low socioeconomic situation, and I had a bad childhood in the past, and I just wanted to. I mean, when you make it out of that type of stuff, you want to give back. You want to help, and it is cool to see, like you said, the kids' faces light up when they smoke a doe and they get out there and they hold that doe, and they're so pumped. It's just awesome. Like, what better feeling could you get for that?
Well, I've told other people this, especially during that Oath hunt, and then now as we speak to some of the kids, they really broke the mold with you. Every time I come out here, it is first class. Every time I come out here, it's always giving back. I've never seen you expect anything from this ranch except for it to be philanthropic. Talk to me about kind of what afforded this ranch. You recently lost your dad.
Yeah.
What was his mentality on things like this?
My dad started a concrete company when he was 19. Started on $50, and everybody told me he wouldn't make it. And then he grew up for 30 years. I took it over from him, and I bought him out. And his dream was to grow big deer on a big ranch. And it was just that we used to flip ranches, and then we found this place in his home place. And he always had a giant soft spot for kids and for veterans, and he just always threw underdog. He always wanted to help the underdog out, and so he always said that this place isn't going to be like it's going to be a ranch, but let's see what we can do with it. Let's see what we can take it. And my whole family's like that. My mom has a 501(c) nonprofit. She runs a Travis County Youth Show. We always just, and it's kind of like we just outdo each other, try to see what we can do to help the community and stuff like that, because it's just there's such a need for it, and we have we're lucky to have a ranch like this for people to come out and enjoy. And I want people to enjoy. I want people to come out, and it's not about the hunting; it's the experience. Like people, when they come to my ranch, they want to come back because of hospitality and because of the lives that have changed and everything else. And like some of these other veterans that are now family because of them coming out these events and stuff like that. And you couldn't ask for any more.
Well, these kids, you hit the nail right on the head. They're getting the experience of a lifetime. There's absolutely no doubt about it. As we watched them up there, the one young lady had shot what any of us would call a trophy
Anybody
buck.
would be a monster bug for
and
sure.
she couldn't wipe that smile off her face. But not only did she get to hunt, but then she got to clean a deer, and now she's going to get to learn about how she eats that deer.
Right.
And
the coolest thing about it is like these kids, Leon gets them to buy in, and so now they have a sense of purpose. They're going to bring that meat home to their family, and that's the first unprocessed meat that's ever been brought to the house. And they're going to prepare a meal. So now they've contributed to the family. Now now they have a value, a self-worth. Like, look, I can do this. I'm helping give back to the family, and it just kind of breaks the cycle of like, woe is me or whatever this situation. And like Leon hit it on the head. It's like these kids they break the cycle. Like, I can do this for myself, and I want to do better for myself. And it just keeps the cog rolling. It's just cool to see them. Like you said, the light bulb goes on, and they see like all what their potential is, and it just keeps going and going and going.
Well, you have an action-packed schedule, and they're about to leave you.
For sure.
But Brandon, I got to tell you, a lot of people know you in the whitetail business is raising good deer, but not a lot of people know about this side of what you do. And Brandon, from flying during Hurricane Harvey, to supporting veterans, to supporting the Travis County youth, to now doing this for inner cities kids in San Antonio, there's nobody quite like you, man. We really appreciate everything you do.
I appreciate you coming out and checking it out.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you.
Go get out there.
Appreciate it.